of Beyond Arrow. I'm Michele Villery. I'm one of your co-hosts. We're going to be using the hashtag as we talk about Beyond Arrow for Beyond Arrow. I'm a member of the Indy Geek, which is on indyradio.org. And we have our co-host. Hi, Tory Rush.
Hi. How are you guys?
And we have our next co-host, and that is Toni Colangelo. Hi, Toni.
Hi, everyone.
And we have Mandi Gordon. Uh-oh. Did she change computers? I know she was gonna.
What happened?
I don't know.
No, I just literally, everything just died for 2 seconds. I'm back. I'm sorry. That literally, you're like, hi, and suddenly it's like, lost connection. I'm like, oh, God, was that me or everybody else?
It's the love connection. We're just saying hi, Mandi, and I just introduced you. And I know Mandi will be joining us, I don't know when. She's having internet problems in Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, so we'll see. We miss you. We've been talking to you a lot, so we apologize.
Just so you know, I'm also known as Skexy Girl.
What is she known as?
Skexy Girl.
Whoa. Oh, okay.
I like the name, and trust me, the people that know what a Skexy is totally get geek points.
Okay, and
now we're gonna get people going. What is a Skexy?
I know now. Everybody's gonna be like, "What is
something now?"
What, Toni?
You're gonna start something now.
Yes, I am. Damn it.
We're okay.
Hashtag Skexy Girl.
I know. Hashtag Skexy Girl.
And people won't even know how to spell it unless they actually know what a Skexy is.
Put it in the chat room.
Well, how do you spell? Yeah, put it in the chat. And
oh, right. Hang on. Let me actually get there. Chat.
The little thingy in the corner. Skexy Girl.
Sexy Girl.
Now, but if you guys have anything Arrow related, we want you guys to use the hashtag Beyond Arrow. And there it has been. We have 2 episodes to go over. They were jam-packed. These last 2 weeks of Arrow have been like, oh my God. There's been a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of Arrow news going on. We do know they did, and I'll let Tory talk a little bit about this. The guys, all of them, just finished shooting last week. They just finished shooting their season finale.
There's a Skexy.
There's a Skexy? Okay. And Stephen Amell is now in New York City. If you guys didn't know, he was cast as Casey Jones in the news Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Alongside Tyler Perry as Baxter Stockman.
Really?
Yeah, he just got announced.
Whoa.
Some people are not into it. I'm like, no, I don't know. I like Tyler.
Yeah, I don't mind Tyler. You know, he wasn't bad in that other Star Wars movie. He was not good in Alex Cross. He was not good in Alex Cross.
He wasn't in a Star Wars movie. He was in Star Trek.
Star Trek, that's it. Oops, fail.
And he was actually...
I lose my Indy card again, Tory.
And he was... he was like the best part, and he was like the best part of Gone Girl.
Was he in Gone Girl?
Yeah, he was a lawyer.
Oh, that's right.
I did not know that.
I haven't seen that movie.
I haven't seen it.
Don't.
Oh, I read the book and I liked it.
Oh, God, that movie triggered the shit out of me.
Yeah, you guys, we swear a lot in here, so, you know, it's just like in the Indy Geek. Well, I don't even... he was in Gone Girl? I like the book. It did scare the shit out of me, really.
It triggered me. It didn't scare me. It triggered me. It actually triggered a depression.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm FUBAR.
Okay. So
lots of non-triggery things.
We are gonna go now. How has everyone's week been? Indie Geek has not been on for like 2 weeks,
I know.
And we missed our listeners, and we have not been on for 2 weeks.
I'm losing track of time. I didn't realize you guys weren't on for that long.
Yeah, we weren't on for 2 weeks.
Tony and I are still recovering from MegaCon.
You guys must tell us about MegaCon.
Tony can tell first, because Tony's the one that interacted with the Arrow guys. I did not.
Okay, before Tori does her top 10, we need MegaCon news because I know Tony has some about Arrow.
Yes. I was standing in the autograph line for David Ramsey, and I heard a lot of good questions being asked by the fans, and David confirmed that, should I say it? Yeah, I think I should.
Go for it.
The first Black Canary, Sarah, is coming back.
Nice.
We don't know how, but she's coming back.
Yay!
Where's my effects? I need my effects for the clapping. Oh!
And there was much rejoicing. Yay!
I know. That's awesome. So we know Sarah's coming back. And in my predictions after last night's episode of The Fallen, I predict another character is coming back. And I told you guys. Laurel.
Yep.
Oh.
I call that. I call it right now, actually.
Well, I mean, she's here, but coming back as into Ollie's life.
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah. Of course, she's a part of the storyline, of course, because she's not that far. But
right.
In terms of her in the storyline with him and Felicity, yeah, she'll be back.
It might be a triangle thing again.
I think it's going to be a triangle.
Mm-hmm.
There was some spin-off news, too. I was looking on Twitter. Let me see if I can quickly find it here. Yesterday, it was announced that that they're doing. Have you guys heard about this? The spin-off, another Arrow spin-off, and Flash spin-off.
I wouldn't even call it an Arrow spin-off. I would just say an expansion of the DC TV universe.
Yeah, it's definitely that. I'm trying to think of what it is called. Hang on one second here. I had this. And basically, Legends of Tomorrow. It is called Legends of Tomorrow. And basically, from what I understand, it's rumored to be starring. I know that they picked a person today. Looks like Franz Dramoff will be on. Rumored also is Brandon Routh.
Oh, isn't Brandon Routh the
Routh rather?
Isn't he like one of the new characters, Adam or something?
Yes, Black Adam. Yes.
Oh.
I know we get to see Superman in a different role. You're like, wait, what? Huh? What? Huh?
Yeah. But they did. I'm just reading it now. Franz Dramoff, who he's cast as Jay Jackson, so who's a former high school athlete whose pro career was derailed by injury, aka.
Oh my God, he's gonna be Cyborg.
I was gonna say, aka for people who are not familiar with the DC universe, Cyborg.
Hi.
I know.
I called it.
So I take it he won't be on Arrow anymore.
That means Brandon Routh won't be on Arrow anymore. If the rumor is true, I don't know if he's been cast or not. But those are the rumors that they're saying that they definitely announced Franz today, though. They announced him about an hour ago, and but yesterday they were announcing rumored was Brandon.
It'll be nice to see Brandon again, even though he's not playing Clark.
You know what? I like him in this role in Arrow a whole lot.
I do too.
I haven't seen him, so I couldn't tell you.
To be honest, I mean, Tori, what are your thoughts on that? Do you like him in this role? Did you see Superman Returns? Did you like him in that?
No, I like him better as Arrow. I think
me too.
He has that playboy billionaire-esque look about him. He's a gorgeous man. I mean, come on now.
My thing about him in Superman Returns was, as Superman, boring as hell. As Clark, he was totally channeling Chris Reeves.
Yeah, but I blame, what's his name for that? The guy.
Directing.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. One of the problems with Superman Returns was that it was Silver Age Superman following the Chris Reeve movies in a modern-day world where we were all already used to Superman animated series, Lois and Clark, and Smallville. Right. So going back to the Silver Age ideas and the way that Clark and Superman were so diametrically opposed characters didn't sit well with a lot of people. Also, it didn't have enough action for a lot of people. And then you have Man of Steel that went with way too much action and not enough story, and it's just, in my opinion, a clusterfuck. But that's, like I said, my opinion. But I swear to God, Brandon Routh as Clark was totally channeling Chris Reeves, and I would watch a whole movie of him being Clark, no problem.
I have to agree with you on that.
Yeah, he was great as Clark. I just, for some reason, I was like, I like him better in this role as Arrow. To me, it was like, because his career almost got ruined by Superman Returns. So I'm so happy.
Another movie he did that kind of bombed too.
Yeah, that one movie. I know exactly which one you're talking about. What was the name of that?
Like something dog with a ghost, something or other, and I'm like, I really wanted to look at it just to see. Nice chin. 400 Days, Arrow, the Ninth X's Enlisted, Chosen. He was in a TV show called Chosen.
Oh yeah, he was with. Is that the one with Chad Michael Murray?
I don't know. Let's find out. But it was 2013 to 2014. He was in Chuck. What the heck was that?
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
What was that?
A text message on an iPhone.
Yeah.
He was in an episode of Gilmore Girls.
Who wasn't?
He was. Brandon played a character named Jess as Brandon B.J. Routh in the episode Concert Interruptus in 2001.
Oh.
And he was in a TV show called Undressed, which I think Jason David Frank was a part of. He was in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
That I did know. I did know that.
Hang on, I'm trying to... Zach and Miri Make a Porno.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, you were.
Dylan Dog, Dead of Night was the other movie.
Okay, that's the movie I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he's actually been fairly busy since Superman.
Yeah, but he's been in like lesser roles, which is too bad because he was in One Life to Live also. And that's when I first saw him. He was in One Life to Live. He played in fact he played Jessica Buchanan's boyfriend.
Mm.
And
I don't watch soap operas, so I mean.
That's okay. But he played Jessica Buchanan's boyfriend, and the girl who played Jessica at the time was also she's a recurring character in Supernatural. She's the girl that was in Bitten, and she's the female werewolf in Bitten, and in the other episode earlier this year that they had.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, he was. The TV show Chosen was with Chad Michael Murray and also Milo from Heroes and Gilmore Girls. So I'm just like, hey, look. Let's see. Undressed was a MTV show. It was like a.
I remember seeing commercials for that.
And I swear to God, Jason David Frank was in here, and I'm looking right now.
We need to do maybe we should do a game called Six
Jason David
Degrees
Frank was in
of
one
Jared
episode of
Padalecki.
Undressed. So was Chad Michael Murray, and Brandon Routh was in several episodes.
You know, they need to do 6 degrees. Maybe we should do a game called 6 Degrees of Jared Padalecki, because you know what's happening? I'm just beginning to put, like, you know, Gilmore Girls in here. Chad Michael Murray was in a few things, House of Wax.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's one of the
begin this game.
Well, here's the thing. You'd have to put the stipulation that you cannot use IMDb. Because the minute you have IMDb, it makes it easy. Trust me, I've done this. When I was younger, when Gargoyles was out, I went into a Gargoyle chat room and I said to everybody, I can do 6 degrees to Highlander. Give me a name. First name somebody gave me was Sean Connery.
Okay.
Who was in the original Highlander?
Wasn't Christopher Lambert?
Yeah, Christopher Lambert. Or Christophe Lambert and Sean Connery were in the original Highlander. So when I said I can get any name into Highlander in 6 degrees, and the first name given to me is freaking Sean Connery. But yeah, we could probably do 6 degrees to. We can do 6 degrees to Arrow, 6 degrees to Supernatural.
We should totally do that, because that just literally, the 4 characters just literally just crossed over when you were naming them. I'm like, Chad Michael Murray, House of Wax, Gilmore Girls.
Hell, you can get Game of Thrones to Arrow in like 2 degrees.
Yeah.
Peter Dinklage was in what was the name of that movie? Knights of Badassdom with Summer Glau, who was in Arrow.
Oh, that's right, Summer Glau. I keep forgetting she was in Arrow.
Mom's like, oh god. I remember a lot of people's like, oh god, Summer Glau's on. Is it going to get canceled? Because poor Summer has like a
no.
Yeah, there's the Summer Glau curse. It's sort of like the other guy that played the lead jock in Revenge of the Nerds, who is cursed.
Ted McGinley.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Poor Ted, and he's a decent actor. Every single show that he's been on has been canceled. But he was on Married with Children, though.
Yeah, that was like the one show. But I think they said it started going downhill when he had that show too. So who knows? But think about it. Look at it. I mean, poor Summer. Firefly gets canceled without really giving a chance. God damn it. Then you have Sarah Connor Chronicles that gets canceled, and then she ended up on Dollhouse, which is what Sarah Connor Chronicles got canceled for. So it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
And her character got cut or killed short too. I think she was only in 1 or 1.5 season of Arrow.
Hey, that's better than other stuff. I mean, poor Summer's really awesome. I really wish she really needs a big break and everything. I mean,
I agree. She's a great actress. I loved her in the Sarah
Connor Chronicles. Oh yeah, in the first episode of the 2nd season, where her chip gets broken and she goes from soulless Terminator to freaking out crying girl in less than a minute was like one of the most moving scenes.
We should do a rewind of that. I will, being that Kente, our fearless Kente, is watching. Hi, Kente.
Hi, Kente.
Hi, Kente.
We should do that.
We can do rewatches of other shows. I own them on DVD. They are not on Netflix anymore. They might be on Hulu.
I just got Firefly on DVD.
Yay!
Yay!
Serenity?
No.
You need Serenity.
I'm confused with that because the very first episode is called Serenity.
Yeah, but the movie's also called Serenity.
Right, it's called Serenity.
Because they couldn't use Firefly.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, gotcha.
Alrighty.
Yeah, pretty much if we're going to do a rewatch of Sarah Connor Chronicles, we need to have the DVDs.
Yeah, we should totally do that, though. And back to Arrow News, to kind of stream it back to Arrow News after we did 6 degrees. Tory, why don't you give us your top 10 tonight and tell us what it's about.
Okay, my top 10 are my most surprising or badass moments in the last 2 episodes. I'm going to start with number 10, and I'm going to go to number 1. Now, to forewarn everybody, I forget names really easily, so you'll get who I'm talking about, but I might not refer to them as their name, so don't get mad at me. All right, number 10. The demon telling Felicity to tell Ollie how she really feels about him before it was too late. But that was really surprising because he's all evil and stuff, and telling her you should go tell him how you feel right now before it's too late. His sister not having a memory anymore was number 9. Number 8 kind of touches on a few points. Elicity, I mean, we've been waiting for them to get together for how long? And they finally did. I thought that was awesome. Number 7, his sister becoming a crazy woman after she got dunked in the water. Like, he really needed that pressure right then. Number 6, the gang showing up to the Assassin's League and all those people were there. That was pretty crazy. I was like, oh, geez. Number 5, Oliver being told to save his sister, he must take his rightful place in the Assassin's League. And number 4, the resurrection of his sister's boyfriend. That was crazy. And number 3, Cops busting into the lair at the beginning of the episode before last. And number 2 is the robot guy thinking he could defeat the laser-eyed dude, even though he's never been in a fight in his little suit before. That took a lot of balls. And then, of course, the end of the previous episode and the beginning of this episode, the demon stabbing his sister. That was crazy. He just showed up out of nowhere. And I didn't know she knew karate. That was pretty crazy. So those are my top 10 most badass moments of the last 2. Yay!
Woo! Yes! Very nice, very nice. And I agree with all those 10. I got the impression that Malcolm taught her to do that.
Oh, that could be, yeah.
Which one's Malcolm?
John Barrowman.
Thank
her
you.
dad.
All I needed to know was John Barrowman.
Yeah, I was going to say John Barrowman's character.
If I'm going to watch a show for anything at this point, it'll be John Barrowman.
He's epic.
Mom's like, wait, who's this
He's
John
really
Barrowman
good.
guy? I show her a picture. She's like, oh, he's in Arrow. I'm like, yep. You're going to meet him? I'm like, yep.
Yep. And you guys, before this show is over, we do have a giveaway. We're going to be doing some weekly trivia, and we have a pop that we're giving away, the Arrow pop that will be available, I do believe May 21st. We have literally the Arrow pop that we're going to be giving away to a lucky winner of the trivia contest, and we'll announce what the question is. And make sure that you guys, when you're talking about anything again for Arrow, that you use the hashtag Beyond Arrow. And you can tweet us on the Indy Geek, and you can also go on to our Facebook page, which is also called Beyond Arrow. So we wanted to let everyone know that. So let's go into last week's episode, which was entitled Broken Arrow.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I remember the movie, or I remember knowing of the movie, I should say. Oh, and just so you guys, I'm doing a little bit of product placement here. I just got the Oreo cream-filled Chips Ahoy's. Oh my God. They're good.
Okay, and we're going to start with Broken Arrow. And Tory,
Yeah.
Actually, that's what I meant to say. Why don't you start off our discussion with Broken Arrow?
I'm just here to sound pretty.
Wait, I'm sorry, who? Tory or Tony?
I said Tony, I meant Tory.
talk, me or Tony?
Tory.
You, Tory.
I'm frozen.
You with the shaggy hair.
You're frozen?
Me?
Yeah, she said she's frozen.
Okay, never mind. Tony, why don't you start?
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. We're starting off with Broken Arrow. And there were some... I wanted to... Oh, did she go?
Tori's having issues.
Yes, she is. Looks like somebody's going back and forth. I wanted to talk about, she's having problems. Sorry about that, guys. I wanted to talk a little bit about the relationship because me personally, loved Ray and Oliver, because Tony and I were talking about this last week, and I really liked the back and forth. Like, Ray, no matter what, was trying his hardest to get along and try to be the nice guy, and Ollie, Stephen and Mel was fabulous in this episode.
Yeah, it was inspiring but funny at the same time because Ollie's trying to tell him it's not all about the armor, it's what's in here, you know, about with fighting and stuff. And the coolest thing that, I'm sorry, I forgot his name, not Ollie, but the other one, his character's name.
Ray?
Ray. Ray actually had Ollie help him out as if it was like a virtual reality game. So Ollie could pick over his machine to fight. It was hilarious. That was like the most I've ever laughed watching on an Arrow show.
Same here. Same here. That was so... It was so great to see them work together.
Yeah, it was.
Kinda, and the only way that they could do that.
Are we talking about that cage fight thing?
No.
Oh no. This is last week's Broken Arrow where they kind of all had to work together to beat Deadbolt. And they also there was also another side story going on with, and we'll talk about Roy in a little bit.
I gotta say though, the commercial with the cage fight was hilarious.
Wasn't it awesome?
That was hilarious.
Poor
guy, he was the last one in. He was late.
Am I there? I'm like, you're a little late, dude. Oh, there's an elevator. Dork. Was that Ray Palmer? Or,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was Brandon Routh. I'm like, yeah, he's a dork.
Yeah. But yeah, that was great. Seeing them work together, and Amel's facials were everything. I could not stop laughing at his facial expression.
Especially when Ollie gets tight-lipped. Whenever, I'm sorry, but Roy and not Roy, Ray and Felicity are alike, you know, from rambling and stuff.
Right.
And he's trying to talk to Ollie, trying to tell him what to do, but he's rambling, and all you see is tight-lipped, and it's like, oh my God, he's gonna explode.
He's just trying everything that in his power. He's just like, or then there's,
and John Diggle, I mean, he's sitting there like this, and you can tell he's trying not to laugh.
I'm dying to see I can't wait until we see the gag reels, because that is, and who knew Brandon Routh was that funny? I mean, I didn't know he was that funny.
Clark.
Yeah.
Really, just look at his Clark.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He's got a really good sense of humor. I mean, you know Amel does because we've seen it, but and David Ramsey. But that was like, they must. I don't know how they get work done. They're worse. They're just as bad as the supernatural people.
Jared. Well, come on. With Supernatural, it's poor Misha. Jared just does everything he can to get Misha to laugh.
Right.
But one of the things I have learned is even the most serious Shakespearean actor you come across is the biggest freaking doofball. I mean, Sir Patrick Stewart is one of the biggest hams you'll ever meet.
Right. So is they say William Shatner is too.
Well, William Shatner, you've gotten to see his ham and cheese with the big giant head from Third Rock from the Sun.
And if you look at Bill Shatner and Misha Collins going back on Twitter, and sometimes Amel and William Shatner.
Oh, what about Orlando Jones?
And then you had Jared with that too.
Oh God,
it's insane. Have you seen them interact together?
No, I tend to avoid Twitter these days because of all the hatred that I usually see.
No, I just look at certain things, and of course I post for Indy Geek and stuff. So
yeah, I mean, you have a reason to be on there. I do not. But I do get certain things like that Jared says and everything. And I think I do follow Steve on Facebook. I knew that Steve Amell on Facebook. I wouldn't mind meeting him. I think he's kind of cool.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. I wouldn't mind meeting him.
I mean, hell, he's the one that got Jared into doing all the he's the one that got Jared onto Facebook, got Jared onto doing these represent things. So more props to Steve Amell for bringing Jared out and into a bigger world.
I can't wait until we discuss tomorrow. We're going to be talking about a lot about what he and Jensen are doing. And they're teaming up with Random Acts. I cannot wait for that. I think that is so awesome.
Awesome.
So we'll be talking about more supernatural stuff tomorrow and sometimes you'll see it bleed together because Amel is really close to both Jensen and Jared. So sometimes this conversation is gonna go back and forth, and we're gonna be talking more about Represent because Paul Blackthorne's campaign ended, and he got what he needed funded for his poaching campaign against elephants. So kudos, Paul.
Very well.
Also, another reason why everything's going to be bouncing back and forth is that they're all in the same studio in Vancouver. So they're all going to intermingle. Yep. So if people think, they don't know each other, but yes.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
They're uber tight. People have seen Amel. People saw Amel all last summer in Austin. He was there after summer.
Eventually, I will get there so I can actually, talk and work and get a job.
But let's go back to Broken Arrow. And one of the things, again, that I don't know who else is, but I am a huge shipper for Felicity and Oliver.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to the Fallen in a little bit. But one of the things that I did like, and I think to me they fought why Ollie is having such a hard time with Ray is because of Felicity, because of his feelings for Felicity. So, but it is fun seeing them go back and forth. But I think his relationship with Felicity had a lot to do with it. And I just love the fact, I don't know, there's just something really great about just Ollie and Felicity. What do you guys think?
She cares about him so much. Like, you can just tell. I'm for them, too. Like, I think that they should definitely, I'm so glad that they got together. I'm really happy about that. So, yay! Hopefully he'll outsmart the assassins and get to be with her again.
I know. What do you think?
Felicity? Noob here.
What do you think, Tony?
Oh, I'm all for it. I've been wanting them together from the get-go. What really got me, I can't remember if it was last week's episode or the one prior to that, remember Ollie's having those flashbacks, and when he did go back to Starling City, when nobody knew, everybody thought he was dead, and the cutest thing was when he went into the Queen Consolidated building and saw Felicity working by herself at night while he was hiding in the corner, and he overheard her say, "Such a shame because you're such a cutie," and Ollie just had this smirk on his face, and I'm just like, that's where it all started.
Oh, such feels. People are gonna be like,
But I thought
I'm for Olicity. I don't ship many things, but I do ship Olicity. Okay?
There you go.
Olicity for life. And
I've never done shipping before, but that'll be my first time. It's Olicity.
Olicity.
Yay!
And next we have Roy in prison, because remember in the episode prior, he kind of, in order to get Ollie away from Lance's eyes, decided to make himself known as Arrow. So we have Roy in jail. We have Thea having like heart palpitations. And now, what do you guys think about how that whole thing played out? Now, Roy made a decision on his own, and I don't blame him for it, knowing the way Ollie is, and how their relationship is. And I'll miss Colton Haynes for a bit. I don't know if he's coming back or if this is just a minor break for him, but I miss him because he added such a great dynamic with being Roy. But I wanted to get your thoughts on that. About him, doing
I thought
that.
it was crazy. Like, I did not see that coming at all. Like, when he showed back up, I really thought he died. I was like,
I did too. I did too.
Back! Oh my god!
I'm like, oh my god, where is he going? And I'm like, they're really killing him off. He's like a main character. What is this? I was telling Tony, I'm like, and the other thing, I'm like, no! I'm like, what are they doing? I can't believe that they're doing that. But and I did not see that coming. And I will say, in these last 2 episodes, kudos to David freaking Ramsey, because he was so understated in the way how they played out, and Colton Haynes also, how he was revealing what Roy's motives were, well, how they developed that, how they kind of flashed back to that, and what Ramsey was, his interactions and different things that they were doing. Kudos. So I was just really, really excited about that, and I just thought, what are your thoughts on that? I thought that it was great.
I couldn't believe that he got stabbed. He got shanked in prison. Like, that was like the craziest way to go out. By a guard, nonetheless, But
not just a guard, any guard. It was a guard that knew how to shank, and he knew where to get him to drug him so that he wouldn't die, so he can go into hiding. Yeah. But it was the ultimate sacrifice, because now Ollie's in the clear. But it poses his relationship with Thea. I mean, he did this all for his friend, but he's going to have to start all over again. Now, where does that leave him when he comes back? Because he will come back.
I'm thinking he will come back. Something's going to trigger for him to come back. I don't want to cause this as a spoiler, but I think everybody has saw the previews between the shows The Flash and The Arrow, because everyone is going after that one professor from Star Labs.
Yeah. Cavanaugh's character.
Everybody is getting involved. I even saw Arsenal, which is Roy, was part of the Arrow team helping out.
Red Arrow.
So yeah, Red Arrow. Yep.
Yeah. So we'll probably. I have no doubt that we'll see Roy, but I was And then we have toward the end of Broken Arrow, and this is what killed me because I'm like, what is this double whammy? Well, there are actually two double whammies. The first one was Ra breaking into Thea's apartment or the loft?
Wait,
Yep.
Ra
And,
as in wait. Ra as in Ra's al Ghul?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rachel. Why did I say
Raish.
that? I cannot pronounce his name.
Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul.
Rachel Ghul. But
Sorry. I'm probably one of the few people. I've been watching Batman the Animated Series since it came out, and comic geek. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So if I mispronounce names, people, I butcher names. So sorry. But there was with Rachel Ghul breaking into the Queen Loft, and who? Now let me ask you. We were just talking about this before we went on air. Thea, what the? Holy crap! She was kicking ass and taking names.
Oh.
I was like, go on, girl. I mean, I'm a sucker for kick-ass chicks.
She really pounded, I'm sorry, I say it this way, she really pounded Ra's al Ghul's butt. I mean, I think, and you could tell he was impressed, but I was just like, why don't you just take her in as part of the team? No, he slams her to the glass coffee table and just gets that sword. And
right. Which I'm like, he had to have been floored at how good she was, and I think that I was floored by that because I don't think I've ever seen her do that. But then again, but then kind of jumping ahead to the Fallen, we did see a little bit of that, you know. With she was no, we didn't see that in the Fallen. We didn't see that in the Fallen. I'm thinking back another episode where Malcolm was showing. You know what I'm talking about?
Ollie came in as Arrow to question her about her father.
Yes.
And she attacked him, and he was like in total shock, not knowing she was trained like that.
Right. So that was, to me, I think Malcolm taught her that.
Yeah.
But I was like, damn. I'm like, maybe they should pick her for the Assassin's team too while they're at it. But he ends up stabbing her, which that to me, as we know, that's just gonna brings us to the Fallen because she's mortally wounded. And we see my heart broke for Ollie because all of his, even though he has friends and he has loved ones per se, if she was gone, that would have been that would have been everybody in his immediate family. My heart sank for him. And so what was everyone's thoughts on that?
Well, I think Ollie's heart was, like, I guess, shattered twice. I mean, first he thought that Roy was really stabbed. Here he was just a ploy all along. And yes, I give John Diggle, David Ramsey, kudos for helping out. And they're actually, I'm glad they're bringing Diggle's character in a lot more.
Same here.
Because he was a vital part of the Suicide Squad, but that's another story. But yeah, I thought Roy was done for. I really did. The way they stabbed him, and then seeing what happened to Thea, I was just like, what's going on? It's one after another. But I was concerned about Ollie. I was like, man, almost his family would be completely gone.
Right.
I mean, because he's got John and he's got Felicity as part of his family too, and Laurel, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's not the same as your immediate family. And you can say Masio, you can add Masio in that because Masio is a huge part of his past, and he still thinks in a way that Masio is still family. Despite everything, you can add him in that. But yeah, my heart sank for Ali. I'm like, this man's been through too much. This is just too much. I can't take it. But so we go then, and this to me, and for everyone else too, we know that this is their way of making sure that he joins the Assassins team. You know, you heard somebody that he loves. He knows the only way Rashagan knew the only way that he could bring him in was to make sure that he was able to put Thea in that effing Lazarus pit to save her. And there was a lot of flashbacks last night too, and some of them were a little, now just for me, some of them, usually the flashbacks, and maybe because we don't know everything yet, and probably at the end of the season it'll make more sense. But some of these flashbacks last night didn't make sense to me a little bit. You know, the way they were handled. I mean, I get where they were coming from. I shouldn't say I totally didn't get it, but in terms of some of them, the way they were placed, I'm like, huh? You know what I'm saying?
I get what you mean, because with this, yes, last night's episode, the flashbacks, I guess, how do I say it? They're overdrawing it for some reason, because last week, you know that they were running from the military people, and he and that other guy that has the wife and the son, they were running from them and then realizing that their former boss, not knowing that she was kidnapped by military, she wasn't part of Argus, that's what it was. But then they just keep prolonging this attack of just trying to find this, whatever that secret potion is, whatever. I thought it was too long drawn out. It should have just went into the next phase. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I didn't get why they were fine, but I was like, huh? But we end up, and then we got the scene right after that, when Ra was kind of manipulating and going back and forth. We see Felicity go to Ray and ask for the use of Ray's plane. And Ray saw the tail end of what happened last night, what happened the week before, and he realizes that it's over between them. And he tells her, you know what, you love Ollie, but so you can have the plane. So they go to the plane, her and Ollie and the rest of them. And now, what did you think of that scene? Now, you would think Ray would have been more, I don't know, he would have fought for her a little bit more. Wasn't he too nice? I don't know.
Well, I guess because of his character, as much as he wanted to be excuse my language, a badass, with being Adam, he's not a fighter with love. I just think that I think he was more drawn to Felicity as like a fan because she's such a computer guru. Mm-hmm. That's just my opinion. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I was surprised he didn't fight for her. I think he had too much respect for Oliver and the others.
Right. I just thought that he would fight for even just a little bit. He was just, to me, he was just so nice. I'm like, really? Right? A little bit. I know that you have, like you said, I agree with you. I think he had a lot of respect for Ollie, especially with the way Ollie handled, with Deadbolt, that whole thing with that, and showing him that he was capable of fighting Deadbolt on his own. But I'm like, just a little, just a little. Tori, what do you think? Is she on? Did we lose her?
Oh,
Are
you
you
know what? I
asking?
think she's on mute.
She's on mute.
No.
I'm still here. I'm just being quiet.
Okay, that's all right.
I don't know what's going on, so I'm just listening.
I'm seeing the mute. Her mic is mute.
Yeah, I'm saying her mic's muted.
And she's also paused, so she might not be at this here right now.
Oh,
No, I see her.
Oh, I don't know why it was muted. I didn't press that.
oh,
He's back.
she's back.
Sorry, I didn't know it was muted. I thought, like, the way they told her, it was kind of like, well, hey,
You sound kind of weird, just so you know.
yeah, I don't know why. I don't know, that was weird. But he knew it was over. Like, he knew that she wasn't gonna love him, and that's why he didn't fight for it that much. He knew that it was never gonna work with her and him, you know? It was kind of a weird, awkward goodbye, but I think he should hear that or be able to tell all he felt. Does that make sense?
I couldn't hear you. I feel bad.
Hey, that's so weird. Hold on, I'm see what's going on here.
Okay.
Now,
A little. Let's see. Say something.
let me call back in. Hold on.
Okay. 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 While she's doing that, while she's doing that, we're going to go to the part where they finally get to.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. All right.
Good. Present as are
Okay.
there.
Yeah, tell us that again.
Okay. Well, what I was saying was, like, I don't think that he really he knew that he wasn't going to have her the way that he wanted her. To think that whole awkward goodbye, he knew that why fight for her because it's never going to be the same again. She has feelings for another man. He knew that, you know, like, but it needed to be said in order for her to have the courage to tell Ollie how she felt. That's how I felt about it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So we get to the part where they arrive on the island. Man, were there a whole batch of freaking assassins? Who knew that there was that many?
I know.
The heck? But
Wait,
there was a
I'm
lot.
sorry. Say that again.
Hmm?
Who knew what?
There was a whole mess of assassins. Like, literally, there were hundreds of thousands of assassins on that island.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I just didn't hear you clearly. Yes, I agree.
That's cool. But yeah, there was like, I mean, I knew that there was a lot, but I was like, wow. And he's getting the royal welcome. You know, Ali's getting the royal welcome. And what they do is it's him, and it's Malcolm, and it's Felicity, and Diggles, and Maceo, and they bring Thea they drop her into the pit, and Rashtagan does, you know, make sure, and Ali does tell him that he will make sure that he lives up to his promises. And with that, and you know, he does go. They put Thea into the pit, into the water. She jumps out. Now I was like, what the heck? What is she, like a creature now? Is she? Maybe this was not a good idea. I mean, what did you all think when that happened?
I was freaked out.
Yeah,
I was like, what is
I didn't know if she was like sick or not. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, same here. I was like, whoa, maybe this wasn't a good idea that you did that. And I still, and then when we see her, she doesn't remember. It's like her, to me, and I told this to Tori last night. To me, it was like her mind was erased for 5 years. So the last 5 years prior to her seeing, before, like right after like Ali left or was missing, because she didn't recognize Ali, and it was like her mind was literally went back technically 5 years, the 5 years that he was missing, to them. So I wanted to know what everyone's thoughts were on that. I don't know if it's long range. I think that had long. I don't know. What's your thoughts? I'll tell you mine.
Well, I was puzzled at first, like, wow, she really didn't even recognize Ollie, and yeah, she did go back that far. What I'm thinking too is that, don't forget, Malcolm, John Barrowman's character, he messed with her mind too for that 1 year when he took her down in South America with the training.
Oh yeah, he did.
Oh, that's right. When she killed Susan.
When she killed Sarah, yeah.
Sarah. When I say Susan for, I mean Sarah.
Okay. But I'm thinking that might, poor I can't think of her name now, but her mind got messed up, what is that, twice now, between Malcolm and then going into that pool of water to get cured.
Right.
When she was freaking out, though, like, did you guys notice that they, like, took, like, some sort of powder and, like, put it on her, and then that kind of, like, snapped her back into, like, calming down? I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, I wondered what that was, too. I was like, what the heck?
It was weird. Kind of like whenever they were drinking that stuff, Felicity and Ollie, and, like, he blacked out, like, what was that? Was that poison? Like, did she know about that, or?
I don't know where she got that. We're going to get into that in a little bit because we need to talk about Felicity finally happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then that happened because I was like, where did she get that from? But then again, it's Felicity, and girlfriend is pretty capable of everything and anything. So, she's pretty handy with that kind of stuff. But there was another thing that happened also, and I'm finally glad that they did this. And it was a great interaction between Maceo, like old friend versus new. I call it old brother versus new brother, pretty much, and kind of having common ground. That's Maceo and Diggles, and I love this interaction between them both. David Ramsey this season has been freaking on point. I love how they've been having John Diggles, like you said, Tony, interact with him a lot, interact with Arrow into that crew the whole time this year. I think it's been great. It's a great addition, and we're seeing how great and understated David Ramsey is this whole year. What did everyone else think about that?
I think I agree with you. Like, you said what I was going to say.
Yeah, I agree also. Yeah, same thing I was thinking.
To me, it was like old brother versus new brother. They both want the best in different ways for Ollie. Maceo wants despite him being in the Assassins, he does ultimately, in his own way, want what's best ultimately for Ollie, because he knows Ollie in a very different way than Ramsey does now, and in the space that Ollie is in now. He's in Ollie's in a different space now. So I just love the interaction between them, and it shows you mainly, Ramsey has his Diggles has his best interest at heart. He's going to protect him no matter what. I just say kudos to both actors, especially that was a great interactive scene to that. And then we get Rod talking to Felicity, and basically just saying, if you want what's best, we know you love him, let you talk to him. He's coming. There's no way that you can get him out of this. And that scene to me, I was like, that was great too. This episode had a lot of, I call it the feels. There was a lot of the feels last night with this episode. What was your thoughts on that scene?
Well, like I said before, like, he knew, and because you brought up, like, well, why didn't he try harder for her love, or, like, why didn't he show a little bit more effort? Because he's smart enough to realize that even if he showed it, she wasn't going to feel the same way about it.
Right.
So, what's the point, It needed to be said. The conversation needed to happen.
Right.
But I don't think I don't think that they were going to get back together.
Mm-hmm. No way. Tony, what was your thoughts on that?
I agree with Tori, what she said, that, what Ra has said to Felicity, it needed to be said. And also the fact that, yes, Ollie made that choice to not have the relationship go any further because it wouldn't work.
Right.
It wouldn't work. He even advised, and again, I'm bringing the flashback in, but it's the same thing with the Flash's character, the Flash, Barry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he, has his lifetime long, crush on the girl that he was living with, and Ollie said to him, you know what, you have to forget about it, because with our line of work, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
So we see Ollie kind of almost in preparing himself to go join the League, and we see Felicity come to him one last time. And we get, finally, once and for all, it's happened. Felicity! Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
Sorry.
That's okay.
Peanut gallery over here.
But we finally get a listing. And then, here's the thing with that. That scene was great with both Steven and Aaron. That scene was great. But then, what they do, we finally get some skin, and they break into a freaking... I'm sorry, I'm going to start swearing now. They break into a freaking ass flashback. I'm like, what the hell? I was like,
I know, they ruined the moment.
I'm like, thank you for ruining the moment. And Tori says to me in the chat, she goes, oh, look, his long hair in the flashback. I do like it. I'm like, I do too, but they just did a freaking flashback. I'm like, they just did a freaking flashback. When he's like,
long hair, though.
oh, I do like it. I ain't gonna lie. I do like it. He's hot.
He's very hot.
Let's be real here. Stephen Amell is hot. Long hair, short hair.
Doesn't do it for me.
Doesn't matter.
That's okay.
He doesn't do it for me. Sorry.
He's hot to me. But
okay, you can have him.
That's all right.
You can have him.
But I love the scene until they did the flashback. I'm like, why do that in the middle of the scene? I mean, I get why, and that was the flashback that I'm talking about. In particular, it didn't go with what. Now, I could be wrong, but later on at the end of the season, I'll probably get it. But it did not go with the rest of the tone for me. I don't know what everyone's thoughts were, and and then we'll bring it back. But that was the flashback in particular. I'm like, huh? Because maybe to me, I was more like I was involved in the shirtless. I'm sorry, I just said it. Yep.
Wasn't that the flashback scene where they were chasing that guy through the streets to find to the food cart to get the nuclear weapon or whatever?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I understood why they were doing it, but it was a really weird time to do it.
Yeah.
It was like
I didn't get
like a bad joke.
I didn't get why they did that. I didn't get that. Tony, what was your thoughts on that?
Oh, it's same exact thing. I think they should have let that moment last. I mean, because who knows when we're ever going to see that again, knowing that Oliver, is going into the League of the Assassins. Why would you break it up with a flashback like that? And I didn't like the flashbacks. I'm sorry. It was too drawn out.
Yeah.
It could have ended before that love scene. It could have ended like when they fought the guy.
That was my whole point with that. I was like, you could have done this like a scene prior, and you could have ended it. I mean, I don't mind the flashbacks because clearly we have to understand what is making Oliver Queen who he is. So I don't have an issue with the flashbacks. But I'm like, I'm like, what? No, not now. I wanted that a little bit more played out because we've been waiting for a long time to see Olicity. It finally happened. It's not a dream.
When it cuts off from that flashback, my reaction was, say what?
Oh my God. It's like, I was literally telling Tori, I go, what the hell just happened? Tori was so funny. You guys should sometimes be in like Facebook chat with us when we're going over the show.
I saw some of it. I was there for some of it. I was watching.
Yeah, I go, my God, what the hell? And he's so pretty with his long hair. Manny's like, huh? I'm like, shallow moment, but you know what? It must be said because you know what? Females are running this after show. And if you think this is bad, wait till Supernatural freaking tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be on like Donkey Kong.
We're all going to be going nuts then.
Hey, man!
Jensen! Oh, Jensen! Oh, yes! Oh, God, he's so bad. I just can't even.
He is.
That's Steve?
Pretty
Or Robbie?
man.
Oh, my God, such feels.
He's tall. I was surprised how tall he was.
Real. Why doesn't that surprise me, though?
It didn't?
He and Ramsey look like they're giants.
I always think everybody's short.
I would probably think that everybody's tall to me, too. But, we finally get that anyways I've vented enough about that. I just had to. But then, out of their lovely, their lovemaking, Felicity goes and she drugs him. Now, this goes back to what Tori said. Where did she get that from? Why?
It didn't make sense. Like, she loves him. Like, why would she try to kill him?
Well, I get what her mindset was, though.
She was just putting him to sleep because, remember, she was trying to sneak him out. She's desperate. She didn't want to lose her love. I mean, that's how I saw it.
That's what I saw. That's what I got, too. And I was like, you know what? I get why she's doing it. I'm not saying that was the most smart. It was the brightest thing. But girlfriend is desperate. She finally gets her man. She's gonna do anything she can to keep her man and to keep him safe. So she took matters in her own hands and drugs him. Where she got those drugs?
Move.
Well, that island is full of secrets. I mean, maybe it was just hanging out in the kitchen cabinet somewhere, you know? She's
guys
like,
are-
oh, well, this one will do, you know? Reading the ingredients while making a sandwich or something, who knows, you know?
I'm like, where did she get this from?
You guys are
Tori was
crazy.
like, where did she get this from? I'm like, I don't know. But she drugs them, and they're so, and I'm like, you know what? Ollie's not going to let this go. He's going to be the man, and he's going to make sure that he owns up to the bar. He's going to own up to what he promised. And they try to get him out, and of course Ross stops it.
Yeah.
So and Ollie puts a stop to it too. And so that brings us to and there's this whole thing that kind of plays out where they say goodbye. And I love this, and I love the goodbye scene.
That was very sweet.
That was really sweet with everyone, especially Diggles and Ollie. I love that, and I loved it with Felicity too. But I really liked it with him and Diggles. I really did the most. And so he says goodbye. He goes off and joins the league. Now, here we go with this. Joins the league. Rashad Khan says that he has to forget all memory of being Oliver Queen. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Okay.
I don't think it's going to happen.
It's not. That's my prediction also. And we're going to be doing predictions at the end, but I'm going to say it out. Flat, straight. He's not going to forget anything about who he is or what he is, and he makes
There'd
them
be no show.
Yeah. So you guys pretty much feel about the same way as I do with that scene. It's not he's not doing that. And what was his name again? In that when they called him something new, and I wrote it. Did I write it? I didn't write it down. I should have written it down. But he has even a new name.
I can't
yeah.
He has even a new name. And they put that, and they branded him like some sort of a cow. Really?
I know. Oh.
I was like, I'm like,
That
oh,
was painful.
that
He
looked
like
painful.
a champ, though.
Yeah, he did. Cause he's boss and gangster.
Yeah, definitely.
OG. Ollie's OG. He's one of the original OGs. And he took it. I call Ollie OJ.
Oh, that's funny.
And he took it, and we see, and that's when we see him on the island. Last of that, and then we go into the aftermath back in Starling City, where we see Thea's got her memory back. Now, this is another prediction of mine. I still think there's going to be some sort of a side effect of some kind with her, some after effect from her being thrown into that pit. Now, she's got her memory back.
The Lazarus pit is a dangerous thing, so yeah, there's got to be a side effect.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Mandy. I think there's something up with that.
The comic book geek speaks up.
Yes. And
Hey, I might not know much about the show, but at least I know about the comic side of shit.
But you know what? They follow the comics a lot of times, so.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. Well, and the thing is, from what I've heard about the Lazarus Pit is that they do kind of come out nuts every once in a while, anyway, which is very true of any Lazarus Pit use.
Right. So I get that. Toni, what do you think?
Oh, I believe there's a side effect with that. I mean, we saw it right when she, jumped out of there like one of those things from Star Wars. I don't know, one of those That's what it reminded me of. But I think there's a side effect with that. But I also think, like I said before, I think it's going to counteract with the side effect of when Malcolm controlled her mind when he had her shoot Sarah.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think there's something with that too. Tori,
Oh, yeah.
Tori, what do you think?
I think that I believe what you believe, where he didn't lose any of his memory. I think he's still going to be well aware of who he is, and he's going to be plotting to how to get back to his home and be who he was again. I know he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't really want to be part of the league. So I think he's going to plot something, come up with something to get himself out of there. Or Felicity and the gang will figure out a way to get him out of there. You know?
Oh, that I agree. We were talking about Thea. Do you think there's, because she now has her memory back?
Mm-hmm.
For how long, I don't know. Whatever, I think there's definitely a side effect for her being thrown in that pit.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that unfold. And then poor Felicity is heartbroken because her love is now a part of the assassin.
That was sad.
That was really sad to see her break down, because we never really see that. She didn't do, again, look what happened to Ray and him almost dying. She didn't go like full on crying like that when Ray got the arrow into him.
Right.
But she did it with Ollie. And that was really sad. I felt for her. But I do think that once everything plays out, Laurel's gonna come back. I just got this feeling.
Yeah. She always seems to show up at weird, awkward times.
She really does. She really does. Like finally they get together, and here comes Laurel.
I don't really like those two together at all.
I don't. You know what? To me, it's not that. I like the actress a lot, to be honest. She's great. So it's nothing against her. To me, Laurel is a part of his past and Felicity is now present.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's my only problem with the relationship. That's like, for example, if you're gonna go like to Smallville, like Lana Lang, that's a part of his past. For him,
don't even get me started on Lana.
For him to keep going past that, that's the same thing. Go into that, leave it alone, be with Lois. I feel the same way with Ollie. You know what? Your time is done with Laurel. Nothing against Laurel, but Felicity has been with you on this new progression, in this new point of your life from the get-go. And yeah, granted, Laurel is still around and she's still a part of that, but not as much and not as influential as Felicity has been. So I don't know. I mean, Toni, what do you think?
Yeah, I think there's going to be some kind of a love triangle again. But yeah, I see the past with Laurel and Ollie. That's in the past. I think Laurel just has a lot of respect for Ollie now, knowing that he's the Arrow. She loved him she loved the Arrow from the get-go, and now I think her perception of the Arrow / Ollie, like I said, is different. It's more professional, and now that she feels like she has to step in to take over her sister's place, it's more of a professional kind of thing right now, but it may end up coming into a love triangle later on once Oliver gets out of that League of Assassins situation. That's what I think.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and here what we're going to do, let me see if I can pull this up. I have a preview of next week's Arrow, which is called Hellison. So bear with me a minute. And I'm going to screen share it. Give me a minute. Let's see.
No parting.
And here we go.
It's dead. He has been changed. He's under some sort of late mind easily.
There was a rival. What is it you wish me to do?
Come to me.
There's only one thing left to do now. Us. You must eliminate this threat. Arrow. This Wednesday at 8/7 Central on the CW.
Okay, and that was a preview of next week's, and that is entitled Hellison.
You know what would be hilarious, and people would go completely nuts on? The guy that showed up at the beginning of that thing looked a lot like Jeffrey D. Morgan. Could you imagine if Jeffrey D. Morgan showed up on Arrow?
Can you imagine?
Oh.
Oh my God, there would be like crossover. It's happening. It's happening.
People would be like, oh my God, it's John Winchester.
It's happening. The crossover, just like Amel wanted, which Steven had an excellent crossover idea.
The only
Yeah,
thing,
that's his idea, and it seems like Stephen Amell is getting everything what he wants. I think it's super cool.
I think it's super cool, and you know what? I think Amel, and Padalecki, and Ackles are the three most prominent people in the CW. If those three want something, those three could probably get it.
Here's the thing. The biggest issue they have with it being a crossover is that it cannot be canon.
No, it can't be. But there are ways, though, to get around that. You can do a dream sequence. You can, especially.
Well, I'm thinking it could be either a dream,
yep,
or like going back into what was that episode with Sebastian Roche, The French Mistake. It'll be like an alternative reality.
Yes. Yep, I can see those two.
Already discussed it. DC Comics has already been brought up in Supernatural. It can't. I agree. It can't. You can't just bring the Arrow in there. It's got to be one of the two.
It's got to be a dream sequence, or because Dean, as we know, Dean, I do believe, is the comic book fan. He's the DC comic book fan.
Dean is definitely I'm Batman.
Yeah, because he said I am Batman. So he's the DC Comics guy. I can see them doing something with that, and I bet money if they did that, and I'm going to just say it on the limb, because it would be cool to kind of see that happen. And I really liked Steven's idea that he had. And I said, you know what, I bet money they'll bring in even a Felicia Day for that. Because that would be...
Oh, God, please no.
I don't have problems. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Because she's...
No, I think it would fit.
It would fit, to be honest, because...
Wait, guys. Just FYI, the Supernatural comic books are put out by DC.
Yeah, I know.
So, actually, knowing that, there is a way to do it
totally
in canon.
I think that they could totally, you know what, well, I always say a dream or something from Dean. You know, maybe, it's got to be a Dean storyline, because if they're going to do that.
That'll be a problem, though. I'll tell you why later. We'll talk about that on Supernatural Day.
Well, just tomorrow.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, it can work. It can definitely work, and with the right writers, I think it'll work really well. Which means most of the Supernatural writers need to be away from it. But sorry, I'm bad. I'm really bad. But it could work, and I think that the three guys could very well pull it off. And I still want to see Jensen show up as. I would love Jensen to show up as Jason Todd.
I would too. How awesome would that be? And you know, Padalecki has said at a con, like a Supernatural con, if and when Supernatural ended, he wanted to be on Arrow. I don't want. Now, let me tell everybody before this happens, I don't want Supernatural to end just yet. However, if, and this is a huge if
it ends, get everybody onto Arrow.
If it does end, and when it does end, of course, Arrow's going to be around for a while. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Remember what I said who Padalecki may be? I mean, I was just joking, but what his character would be?
What?
His character.
On the
I would like to see Jared be a badass. And you know what? And
Being
I actually
badass.
had a poll question I was going to make up tomorrow because everybody perceives Dean as a badass. You know, to me, after last night, and I was looking back at previous episodes, I think Sam's the badass. He's a better badass than Dean is.
No, he's not.
Yeah, in terms of in certain elements, you know, Dean is more. You know, Dean is much more like you can see he's a total badass, and I'm not taking anything away from Dean. But Sam is more deceptive. He's more manipulative. You know what I'm saying?
He's
you know,
manipulative.
Sam is completely manipulative. The thing is, when you know the way okay, so you're pretty much saying, here's the thing: you're dealing with a ninja versus a knight. Dean's a knight, Sam's a ninja.
Yeah, but there's different, and I said there's different facets of badassery.
Yeah, so yeah, whereas Sam's the sneaky little bastard, he would very work much in Assassin's Creed, and Dean is way in your face. Dean is like Mal. You're going to be facing me and armed. Sam will stab you in the back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sam will totally stab you in the back.
We'll discuss this more tomorrow, but Sam will stab you in the back, especially after looking at last night's episode. I was like, damn, Sam, you're a sneaky SOB.
Oh, I want to say something about the hopeful crossover.
Yes.
If they do, I want Castiel in it because I want to see that the Arrow says something that maybe to Castiel, and I want Cass to say, "I'm sorry, I do not understand that reference."
Except that you can't do that anymore because of what Metatron
did. Yeah, he infused his brain with all the literature and movie scripts.
Yes.
Hang on.
Or even say something along that lines. I just want to see some kind of comedy parody between the Arrow and Castiel.
Me too.
Okay, to quote Malcolm Reynolds, this is what Dean would do. To quote Malcolm Reynolds, "If I ever kill you, you'll be awake, you'll be facing me, and you'll be armed."
That's Dean.
Yeah, that's
Dean. Yes.
Yep. We're nearly done with our first Beyond Arrow show, and we want to thank everyone. If you guys have any questions, first of all, Tori has one more thing. We are doing our giveaway, and we're giving away the pop doll. So to answer the following trivia question, Tori is about to ask everyone. Make sure that you go onto Twitter, our Twitter account, which is the Indy Geek. And use the hashtag Beyond Arrow to answer the question. So to make sure that you guys are eligible to win the Arrow pop doll. And you can even use that hashtag also on our Facebook page, which is also called Beyond Arrow. Tori, what's your trivia question?
What is the history of the League of Assassins? So we need to know exactly who these guys are for anybody who may not know, who has not read the comic. And yes, please use the hashtag Beyond Arrow. Anything that you talk about Arrow, use the hashtag Beyond Arrow because that's awesome. And the doll is not actually going to be sent out until the 31st of May. Because that's when it comes out. So you'll win the prize, but it's going to take a few weeks to get the actual doll.
Exactly.
So sorry about that.
My smog pops are off limits. As is my toothless pop. My dragons are mine.
Okay, everyone. I'm Michelle, and we want to thank everyone for being a part of our first episode. This will also be on YouTube in a few minutes, and also it will be available on the Indie Geek site as well, in a podcast format. Now, Tori, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at Rush Tory, and that's Tory. You can find me in my Facebook group, and that's The Infectious Walking Dead. So Facebook / The Infectious Walking Facebook / group / The Infectious Walking Dead. You can find me on our website, www.infectiouswalkingdead.com, and Instagram _The Infectious.
All right. And Tony, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at D as in David, Drummer Girl 71. And Facebook, I have to make it public, but it's under Toni Colangelo. So I'm on Facebook, Toni Colangelo, Twitter, Drummer Girl 71.
Alrighty. And Mandi.
Where can you find me on social media?
Yep.
Oh God, I don't even remember my Twitter. Pretty much you type in Skexy Girl, you'll find me almost anywhere.
Okay.
Hang on, let me double check. Because I've had way too many people going after me in a bad way. I am at Skexy Girl on Twitter.
Okay.
And that's the best way to get me because I'm not giving you my Facebook. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's all right. And you can find me on Twitter. My personal Twitter account is at Bed of Roses 2001. Yeah, I'm a Bon Jovi fan.
No, nothing wrong with that.
Heck no. And you can find me, I have a public Facebook page at Michele Villery, and I also have an author Facebook page, which is, my pen name is Ty Langston. You can find me there. You can find me on my website, Ty Langston. I also run the Indy Geek Twitter account, which is the Indy Geek also. And you guys can find me and tweet me there. And so far, all of you Arrow fans have been doing that, and you guys have been awesome. We will be back on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Talking about Arrow. Tomorrow, we'll be discussing Beyond Supernatural, the Book of the Damned, and also we'll be talking about the Warfare Project. So for everyone, I'm Michelle. This is for Indie Radio. Have a great night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.